I'm gonna pick back up. We didn't make it very far we didn't make it very far anyway on Thursday of last week. So I'm just gonna pick back up where we left off. As we go through this material, again, I'm going to take my time going through like chapter one. We're going to be in chapter one probably for the next, we'll be in there for 6 weeks. I'm not going to rush through it. If you guys have already started to read it, I hope you guys have. I'm not going to say it. We had an agreement that you guys would begin to read before coming into class regardless. So you guys should have cracked open and started to just chunk away. I don't care if it's 5 pages a day. Chapter one's a lot, but we'll cover that whole information. So again, my expectation is that you'll just continue to read. Because we'll spend 6 weeks in chapter one, don't feel like you have to rush through it. All right, so you can take your time. Like I said, give yourself a dedicated goal to read just 5 pages a day over the next 6 weeks, and I'm pretty sure you can miss a day or two and you'll still be able to read not only chapter one, but get into chapter two before we start covering that material as well. All right. For this class, your attendance is going to be extremely important. All right. There's just going to be, because we're going to stay in chapter one for so long, there may be just certain, you'll have 2 quizzes for chapter one. When I get halfway through, quiz 1 will open, and then once we finish, quiz 2 will open. All right. You'll have, for this class, because we'll be talking about business in a very generic or general or broad sense, I will assign some papers where you'll basically be researching what's going on right now in the U.S. economy, as far as we'll be looking at GDP, gross domestic production. How is that impacting businesses? Everybody in this class, starting next week, everybody will pick one business to monitor over the next 15 weeks. Every 2 weeks, you'll put a new report in, which is about a paragraph to 2 paragraphs long, saying what has been going on in the market and how have these things that have been going on in the market, how have they impacted your business that you've been monitoring. All right. What was the big thing yesterday in the business world? It's tech related.
China AI company, DeepSeek, I think the name.
DeepSeek. Who knows about DeepSeek? Raise up your hands. So basically, DeepSeek So DeepSeek was a competitor to OpenAI, ChatGPT. DeepSeek, essentially what it did was it processed queries at a super efficient rate. Like something I read yesterday or this morning said that a query for ChatGPT is something like $16 million or something like that because of the systems and the architecture it runs off of, compared to this DeepSeek was like 16 cents per processing transaction or whatever that may mean. And then the crazy part was, and why the whole market went in a tizzy, is because Quadus and Giuseppe, why was it a problem? What company did it impact the most?
Oh, Nvidia.
Who knows Nvidia? Raise your hand if you know Nvidia. Nvidia is located here in Austin. It is basically all this new AI stuff that's going on. They can't build on AI platforms without this Nvidia chip. So anything that any company trying to get into AI has to buy a chip from Nvidia. Remember, when we're thinking about investing in these companies we're investing in, think long-term, think future earnings, think growth. Remember the whole Facebook and Meta when we painted that out. And a lot of us weren't even looking at the things that Meta's doing. Like they put this information right in front of your face. But most of us believe what they say. As academics, and what I'll challenge you guys all throughout this semester is to understand who the hell they are, What are they focused on? And how is it relevant to you and where you spend or invest your dollar? So Nvidia gets crushed yesterday or 2 days ago, like $1 trillion erased out of the market. Crazy, crazy. Nvidia, let me tell you the story about Nvidia. So 3 years ago in this class, I started a project, maybe 4 years ago now, I started a project in an international business management class where I just wanted like a lot of the stuff that we talk about, you guys can't make it, it's not applicable to you, right? Like I'm talking about these companies and only 5% of the people in this class know about these like companies that are being talked about every freaking day. So Nvidia, you got a question? So Nvidia, again, they're a chip company. This DeepSeek software doesn't use Nvidia's chip. So they're more efficient, they're cost effective, and like by a large scale. But the competitor is OpenAI. Kudos. Let's talk, okay, let me go back. So when I started watching Nvidia was $70 a share, $80 a share. Today, 4 years later, Nvidia was, prior to 3 days ago, Nvidia was 138, roughly 142 per share 3 days ago. Like I'm gonna tell you like how valuable this information is. So Nvidia 4 years ago, $100 or $70 a share. They've been they're on the they're basically the only game in town for companies that are trying to get into AI. So you got a lot of these big companies, Facebook, Meta, all Apple, Apple, but Apple's trying some other stuff going on too. Tesla, Microsoft, like everybody is buying chips. So this is if you've been following Tesla for like since 2006, Nvidia has the Tesla problem. The Tesla problem is the demand is so crazy they can't meet demand. So they can't make enough chips and keep them on like their shelves. And Meta is doubling down their biggest customer, buy. Remember, we painted the Meta story for a long-term vision and growth, right? So it goes from 90 to 100 to 120. I had a student here 2 years ago who had a large amount of money that he was looking to maneuver. He actually bought into Nvidia 2 years ago, about a good $40,000. At that time, Nvidia, I believe, like when he bought into it, so 4 years ago, it was 70. 2 years ago, when he bought into it, it was $600 a share. It went all the way up to $1,200 a share. He bought $40,000 worth at $600 a share. Went up to 12. While we are in this class, literally we're watching it just go, and it's every day, every week he's like looking at me like, whoa, this is crazy. Nvidia, so these companies have this when they get so big and the price gets too expensive, it causes outside investors not to feel they can come in and invest. And then it also makes some issues for the company. So one of the biggest challenges for Nvidia is because it's been such a successful company, typically these startup companies, they'll give their employees shares, like that they'll either match or after 5 years they fully matriculate. It's called RSUs. These are things when you get 10 years into your career, you'll understand and negotiate. When they can't pay you the money, you start to negotiate other things. You might get stock. You might be able to negotiate an extra week or two. Like there's other ways around that you don't just talk about a dollar. Give me 1 second, I'll be right there. So the problem with Nvidia was that all their software engineers that were early on, well, the stock was like, their problem was their employees that they gave stocks to they were millionaires. So they basically left the company to the innovative millionaires elsewhere. So stock goes up to 1,200. They do a split. I think it was a 10-to-1 split. When the stock gets too expensive, they'll do these. They'll take it. Let's say if it's 100,000 shares at $1,200, they'll do a 10-to-1 split. So they'll make 100,000 shares now turn into 1,000,000 shares. And instead of $1,200 per share, it goes to be $120 per share. So my student at this point, 40,000. He bought at 600. It went up to 1,200. So he doubled his investment. Then it split. And then, I mean, the price is still relative, but let's say if he had 100 shares, now he has 200 shares. Now you get into this part, and it's been fluctuating between like 118 and 140. I think its highest point so far has been about 150 something.
This morning.
Yeah, this morning?
Yeah.
I don't, well, that's crazy. That's crazy. Which again, watch this flow. So we get this news yesterday morning about DeepSeek. I still pay for cable. The reason I still pay for cable is because I watch two shows, two channels. I watch CNBC and SportsCenter. But I'm very I can't watch TV. I fall asleep if I watch TV because I'm self-diagnosed ADHD. Like I need stuff moving around. I can't pay attention. Like I just always gotta be moving. If I sit down, I'm done. So CNBC at 4 o'clock in the morning, everything that they talk about for the rest of the day, they talk about it first at 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning, which is really on the East Coast time, it's 5 to 6. And what it is a reporting of everything that's happening in the market as the world spins over and shifts from Europe and London markets closing and Asian markets closing now to the US markets opening. So you have all this currency, all this money that's flowing all around the clock, right? We get this news at 4 o'clock in the morning about DeepSeek. Next thing you know, all investors do a crazy sell-off. I want to say this was 2 days ago, not yesterday. No, this was yesterday morning. So in the morning, 8 o'clock, it went down from 142 to $124 a share, 128 actually. 4 hours later, 12 o'clock yesterday, it was $118 a share. Now, when you start hearing these fear-mongering reports about these other, like the new shiny object that's coming, so this new DeepSeek company that's more efficient than OpenAI, why do we care about OpenAI and DeepSeek when we're talking about Nvidia?
Because we're talking about China, the US, and then we're talking about Trump.
But what's Nvidia's focus?
Chips.
And in what way?
To make AI efficient.
So again, your superpower as business management majors is your ability to be able to research companies, understand what do they have going on.
And again, the 500 billion agreement they have with Donald Trump about building the data centers all over the US. So between between OpenAI, Oracle, and something. And again, for them to be able to do that, they're definitely going to need Nvidia's chips.
They're going to need Nvidia's chips, 100%. So the best place you can go to learn about a company is probably where? Whose website? Company's website. So Nvidia.com pioneered accelerated computing to tackle challenges no one else can solve. Our work in AI and digital twins is transforming the world's largest industries and profoundly impacting society. What does ChatGPT do?
Generate text.
Generates text. Do you see any text on this scrolling video that we are worried about? If I go to, let me see, explore. What does this have to do with OpenAI and processing on a chip? Driving automotive growth. They're looking at reshaping the $3 trillion automotive industry from designing and engineering to manufacturing, autonomous driving, and customer experience. This is the primary focus. The world you know today, January 28th, 2025. Professor Bowers put 97% of you guys on to what the world is going to look like. And it will never be the same from this moment on. And you guys are living it and watching it. My anticipation is probably in the next 5 to 8 years, you will no longer drive cars. You won't have to. You won't want to. You won't need to. And it's because of Nvidia. And this short 2-sentence phrase here of a company no one, 4 people in this room are aware of. Generative AI and digitalization are reshaping a $3 trillion automotive industry from design and engineering, manufacturing, autonomous driving, and customer experience.
I have a question when DeepSeek, to be honest, because when I was doing research, that thing, one of the main reasons why it became that popular is because it's open source. But I didn't get why it's open source programs, what are the benefits for the company, for them. I mean, I gotta be honest, I don't really trust in China because I know how are they with that. Everybody trying to get profit somewhere. So I don't understand well why.
Well, we got to pay attention to what's really going on. And you guys have heard me talk about this before. So you can go out.
Check this out. I'm going to show you.
You can go out and find the China 2030 plan and China 2030 and China 2035 plan. So basically they have a plan by 2030 to be the world's #1 manufacturer, and they no longer want to be known for making cheap products, right? That's like everything's made in China, everything comes out of China, but it's not good quality. They don't want to be known for that anymore. And they told us this 10, 15 years ago, and it's on YouTube. So again, what are you doing on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the other social media platforms? Like YouTube University, even alone, has so much information on there. China wants to be the #1 manufacturer. And then Trump announced like 3 days ago, what's going on? We got the AI innovation, but then America's also going to lead in what?
Oil, gas in Europe.
And like this guy's in, and there's been a whole bunch of changes that shape the money you make, how you can get access to jobs. It's impacted international students on their concerns of if they can be in the country and for how long. Real life problems. Like you're not an hour drive away or 3-hour flight. Like that's different. And you're worried about like this fool. So they got to pay attention, right? Trump said we're going to be the #1 manufacturing company or country. America's a business, so you can say company as well. Then also what Trump has been doing is he's been saying to other countries, come invest in America. Anybody that puts more than $2 billion into America's country gets not taxed on capital gains. The Saudi Arabia government pledged $600 billion, and Trump said, I think he'll go up to $1 trillion once I talk to him. He's a good guy.
I just noticed something right now. I didn't know this. I didn't know the CEO of Nvidia was Taiwanese. So is the competitor in the US, AMD. She's also in Taiwanese.
Interesting one. Good catch.
You think CEO Jensen Ma offered nothing special at his CES keynote last night? Or maybe even he can't stop. First of all, the whole tech sector rolled over today, even as other parts of the market like healthcare and 10-year treasury. As I said at the top of the show, highs. It was shocking Nvidia that actually opened up strong this morning. It was sad. Listen, I'm a stock guy, not a tech guy, not a health guy, not a companies. But some stocks I follow more closely than others. Stocks like the company I did find last night's speech pretty darn fast, including making humanoid robots and taking and trucks to factories and warehouses. We have digital agents that can do all sorts of things for us. And
The world will never be the same because of this one company. Literally, we are watching the transition and shift of everybody going into AI because of this company's process.
that was the takeaway. Jensen talked about the possibly relevant AI PCs, some things considered a bust. He mentioned several uses for Apple's Vision Pro for healthcare gaming, another alleged bust. Plus, there are all new.
I wanted to try to find the video of him he basically put on the Apple Vision Pro and he did a whole car demo and not being able to see the car. He was able to go walk around the car with this Vision Pro. He was able to get in the car, felt like he was sitting in the car. He was able to do a full demo. So imagine the problem with businesses today, right? Think about back in 2020, right? We got hit with COVID, used car prices went up, right? New car prices were damn near the same price as used car prices. So companies like Carvana were impacted, right? Carvana, I believe, filed for bankruptcy in between that time period. All right, so imagine a company like Carvana. So first, these companies have to have real estate. They have to store their products at a certain site. Now, Carvana, internet purchase. You go on the internet, you look, you like, you buy, and they ship it to you. I don't know if you guys have purchased a car, but I'm not purchasing a car because I saw it on an internet webpage. I need to see it, I need to touch it, I need to drive it, I need to test it around, especially a used car. So from the business perspective, imagine that now I can just go ahead and buy 10 Vision Pros. I have 3 customer service reps, and then I can keep my cars in 3 different locations in the area where the price of real estate is cheap. And then I keep the cars there that I have, but then I might just have to have one little office and I pay $1,000 a month for it that holds 3 people. You come in, you demo the cars, you like, maybe we only have one car one car around that you can test drive, but then you can pick from our factory or from our storage unit, and it's all virtual by how you're looking and seeing what it has. Like, this is the future. And when you think about it, what the hell do you go outside the house to buy anyway? And if you're I'll be honest, like I'm gonna be honest, I get frustrated if I gotta go to the store. I don't like going to the freaking store. Only store I like going to is the grocery store. Other than that, I don't want to go into a store. Like, if I go shopping, I know what I want and I leave. And realistically, now I just go on Amazon, I get what I want, and then they ship it.
Yeah, right.
No problems, right?
Clients like Toyota that may want to build out a network using a supercomputer brain in one location and a brain on more.
Did you hear that? Sorry.
The moves from cars and trucks to factories and warehouses will be robotic and embodied by AI. And quote, to me, that sounds like the agentic economy. We have digital agents that can do all sorts of things for us, and it's all NVIDIA. The world will never be the same if this happens. And after last time, I think it's happening much sooner than expected. That was the takeaway. Jensen talked about the possibly relevant AI PC, some things to consider a bust. He mentioned several uses for Apple's Vision Pro for healthcare and gaming, another alleged bust. Plus, there are all new clients like Toyota that may want to build out a network using a supercomputer.
Like Toyota. Think about how big of a company Toyota is. And just listen again to what he's saying they're looking to do. So this information is out there. So remember, as an investor, you're always thinking future growth, right? What's the future growth of this company and what are future profits? The more innovative a company can be, the more profitable it will be. Why is that important for you guys in this class on this university? Why is it important to understand information like this? For you, getting ready to go into your careers at an early phase and stage. Okay, but why does it matter to you? Why do you need to know this information? How does it impact? Like, why is it important that you know this now?
The decision making.
For decision making and what magnitude?
I mean, if you want to invest money right now, or you want to get into that.
If you want to invest or what else? Why are you guys in college? What's the purpose?
Get a job.
To get a job. Why would you work for a company that doesn't have future growth? So if you don't know the companies that are growing in the future, if you don't know the companies that are innovating for the future, you're going to apply for companies that are probably dying and have lack of growth, which means that you're going to be stuck in a monotonous job that gets boring. You do the same thing every day. And if you do the same thing every day, what do you think is going to happen to your job down the road?
Layoff.
For what reason?
Because you couldn't get yourself to.
But why do they lay off? You do the same thing every day. And you just push a button and you just check some things. You submit this checklist.
Well, they're gonna add for it.
Why do I need to pay Colin, excuse me. Why do you pay Colin freaking $50,000 to $60,000 a year when I can invest $50,000 in a humanoid robot that Tesla said is going to cost $50,000, and we've seen the humanoid robots. Amazon can't wait until they get released because Amazon can't wait to get rid of these employees because these humanoid robots, they don't complain, they work 24/7, they don't need vacation, and they just do what, there's no employee work hazards or there's no health conditions that they need to worry about. So what does that leave all of you? So again, listen to this.
I like Toyota that may want to build out a network using a supercomputer brain in one location and then a brain on more. I know that just sounds like a press release, but if Toyota, a well-capitalized company, decides to build out a Tesla-like autonomous driving system, it's going to have to buy hundreds of thousands of Nvidia chips. That's good for business for that. Now, there are always people, plenty of people actually, who own Nvidia for the long term, like Trust does. It should be gratified by all these very important announcements. But there's also a huge group of people who own Nvidia because it goes up, often by a lot. And the stock went nuts going into and immediately after Jensen's speech. These people, many of whom buy call options, not common stock, the company to stay in it when the stock starts selling off.
Who knows what a call option is or common stock? Raise your hand.
This is the call option when you buy like 100 shares.
You have no excuse to not know because we all have Google. And now we got this AI that pretty much gives you the full answer. If I search Google, it gives me a summary and a write-up, everything's summarized now. When you hear things that you don't know, Google it. So I highly suggest for those that don't have paper out, if you do hear some things on here that you don't know, you should probably Google it and then go hard into YouTube University to understand what it is. Because the things he's talking about are going to make you a lot of money if you pay attention and know how to read the indicators through the market. These are, again, what we'll cover from a broad sense, and what I'll relate in this course are how the market's impacted, where it's impacted, and how consumers will respond, how investors respond, and so forth.
And I'm sure they didn't watch the keynote or read the blogs, and they're just in it because of the momentum. When the momentum turns, they turn too. To me, this is business as usual. People, I may not know all the exciting steps that Jensen talked about. As I see it, he assured me that the new industrial revolution is alive and well and coming to you in a very
So what he just said was, when the momentum of the company turns, the people turn. So depending on what news is happening, when bad news happens, this specific company, it will actually get hit hard. When good news happens, this stock shoots to the freaking moon. Okay?
short time. Nvidia stock was brought down not by anything lacking in CVS, but because there was too much hot money in the stock. And these kinds of fellow travelers are your worst enemy, your shareholder. This decline had nothing to do with the Spectrum, Blackwell, or any of Nvidia's other chips.
Well, I'll tell you this right here, and we'll stop the video. 2 weeks ago, Nvidia was at 140. 2 days ago, it went down to 118 a share. So when you can buy one share, all right, now, and then produce, what is it today?
152.
152.
No,
So yesterday morning, I'm telling you legit, I woke up, like I'm up earlier than a lot of my friends. So I texted them, I said, buy Nvidia now. It went from 128 when I said buy now. Back at 12 o'clock, it went down to 118. I said, double down, buy. 24 hours later, $152. So what happens is in these markets, you need to understand these shifts. And Kramer just told you everything. Now you're just getting your first exposure to it, but imagine if you're paying attention diligently, Googling what you don't know and understanding how you can capitalize on these moments. You're making money without having to work, but you're making money off of understanding what's going on in the market and how it impacts, and then where do you put your money to earn money. So imagine one share, if I bought it 118 and it's 152, $30. Imagine if I bought 100 shares, $3,000. There are people that buy 100,000 shares and then they made $300,000. But what they do with their money now is they take the profit, they never cash it out, they put it into other vehicles, but they follow the flow. So you can seriously make money off of your movement of money in the vehicles you put it in. My international students, how they can make money is because you're a global individual, you're a global entity. You can go anywhere in this world and you can probably work for more money, but live for cheaper. I showed you guys, or shared a story with one of my friends who went to Nicaragua and makes $5,000 or made $5,000 a month and only spent under $1,000, and she lived like a queen. Had everything she needed, was able to go out, and all the money she ended up putting on her student loans so she could pay it off at a quicker rate. Most of us that are US based don't have the courage that these international students do to come into a whole culture you're unaware of, unfamiliar with, and then ultimately at the end of the day, not only thrive, succeed, and you don't know the language, you don't know the ways, like, but you know, as I've been saying over and over again, this is a stopping point. And like, you know, it is, if I were to put it this way, you could live on the east side of Austin and work a remote job from a company that's based in New York. Theoretically, you get paid for the New York rates, but companies know now we're not paying you based off of where we're based, we're paying you based off of where you live. So this is important information to you because I also know that the average home in Austin costs $350,000. Maybe you don't have to live in Austin right away. You live somewhere in the further outskirts where they're building, developing, and the home prices are cheaper. But, you know, growth is going that way. Home ownership is a wealth generator for sure. But you got to get in to win. And if you don't get in, and there's a lot of ways to get in, a lot of government programs, but are you aware of? Another reason why I will tell you guys to make sure you come into this class is because I'm going to drop all of that information throughout this course. I promise you, I guarantee it to you. I haven't even really reviewed but 3 slides, and this is our 3rd day. I hope I dropped a lot more information than what you guys ever expected. And again, I'm recording these classes, so if you ever want to go back to a conversation, take notes on a conversation, whatever, that's what it's there for. But I guarantee you, like if you pay attention, like you can change lives or change your own lives. Yeah. So what is business? A business is an organization that strives for profit by providing goods, goods and services desired by its customers. Remember, the most important word here, strives for a profit by providing goods and services. You're striving for a profit. You can't get a profit if your business isn't desired. So when we think about, especially for those that are interested in entrepreneurism, think about what is in demand and what's desired. You could start up a business right now and you can make HT t-shirts. Great business. What's the problem? Okay, they already sell HT t-shirts. What else?
People's not buying it. People is not buying it.
People may not buy because they got two options. What else?
It may be costly.
Could be costly. Because why?
Because you don't have a company right now, so you can make like a cheaper t-shirt and you can sell it.
What else? How many students go to HT? You should be able to say, you know, hey, Google, approximately how about 1,000 students. So if I sell a t-shirt for about $25, I can only sell a t-shirt, an HT t-shirt to 1,000 students, give or take. And we know out of that 1,000 students, they have an option already to buy an official t-shirt from campus, or they can buy t-shirts that's customized from me. But most also, this is $1,000 or 1,000 students that probably don't have that much money. So are they going to buy a $25 t-shirt when they got two different options? Would they choose for my customized versus the official university t-shirt? So I have a problem with this business. My problem is my market's too small. If I sold 1,000 t-shirts at $25 a pop, I'm only making $25,000. And I already know I can't sell 1,000 t-shirts to all of these students. My market's too small. Now, if I were to do a UT shirt, how many students are on the campus of UT? About 30, 40,000. So it makes sense for me to sell t-shirts that are UT based because the market's so big. I got 30 to 40,000 people. And then what else about what about Austin that makes it even more powerful?
Very busy. It's very busy.
Very busy. No, UT related.
They got money.
But how does Austin treat UT? They freaking love UT.
Yeah, it is.
UT is the pride and joy of this location. So you not only can sell a UT shirt to UT students, you also can sell to people in Austin because they love UT. My market's bigger.
Yeah.
I can sit here and make a decision. Is it better for me as an HT student to sell HT shirts, or do I have more of a market at UT? Where's the desire? Now, my passion may be for HT, but the market share says UT. No matter what business it is, and those two things are very important. You don't want to start a business that's a great idea. You want to start a business that you actually love. So if you are thinking about starting a business, one, is it desired? How big is the market? And then how much do you care about it? If you're not passionate about whatever you want to start a business in, you're not going to survive the slow times. You probably all know people that have designed clothes, sold t-shirts. How long did they last? Imagine how hard that is clothing, because you can't sell the same thing every year. And eventually, if I buy one t-shirt from you, like, I love you, bro, but let me get something new. Or I already bought a t-shirt from you. I can't buy the same t-shirt from you over and over again. So now I got to have my consistent product and then always release new products. But the more I have consistent and then release new, what am I probably building up that's costing me money?
What?
My inventory. As I go from the old inventory to the new inventory, I'm growing. I need a place to store it. If my t-shirt business grows out too big, I can't run it through my living room. Where am I going to store the stuff? How am I going to package it? And then the worst part about t-shirts, very profitable if you can order a bulk amount of t-shirts. but I gotta have freaking extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, double XL, triple XL, quadruple. Like I gotta have all these sizes, and I don't even know the average size of the market or what size t-shirts you will want. What's your cut? That's not even talking about crew neck versus V-neck. Like you start to add all these other things, and it changes your market. I prefer V-neck over crew neck. So if it's a crew neck, I'm probably not going to buy unless I support you. So we also need to understand what drives the desire. If I were to ask you, who drinks Coca-Cola? Raise your hand. Thank you.
Zero sometimes.
Who drinks Pepsi?
Why did you talk about Pepsi? That's crazy.
No, that's amazing. Who drinks Mexican cola?
Wow.
No, you guys don't drink Mexican cola?
You're lying.
You guys don't drink soda at all?
Not dark soda.
Not dark sodas? I love it. No, seriously, it's so good that you guys are health conscious and know that. Like, you shouldn't be drinking that stuff at all. Coca-Cola and Pepsi in America has it has high fructose corn syrup. When you go international, high fructose corn syrup is illegal. So Mexican cola is actually, instead of high fructose corn syrup, it's made with cane sugar. If you go international, you drink sodas, like the soda tastes so different international, like it's like you know how you drink a Pepsi and you have that like it hits you hard and you're like, it's more of a flat taste. So it doesn't give you that same I'm gonna drink it, I gotta burp. But it changes depending on what country you're in, because it also is derived off of country flavor. So more European countries, less sweet, a little flatter. And then when you go into the Asian countries, it's more sugar. A lot more sweet, but flavor profile.
When you come to Africa, it's more sweeter.
It's an Africa
We have
sweeter.
cocoa, so.
Things to be aware of, all right? Businesses meet the needs of customers by providing medical care, autos, and countless other goods and services. What are goods and services? Goods and services are tangible items manufactured by businesses such as laptops, cell phones, tables, and chairs, whereas services are intangible offerings of businesses that can't be held, touched, or stored. There are a lot of opportunities to run, create, and manage your own business. Another thing I'll tell you for those that are entrepreneurial, don't start a business that starts with your work first. If you are the #1 employee in your business, if you are the chief of everything, it's not worth your time. You'll make more money spending time in college, paying attention to your studies and getting internships than any business will probably pay you right off the market and right off the rip. I'd rather let my money lead my business, not my hands, not my physical output. I could never produce more than my money can. Does that make sense to you guys? Why can I never produce more than my money can?
Yes, you can invest like more time thinking about other areas, like more investing more time at one business. You can think about another thing and invest money in it.
If I'm working, if I'm coding this website, if I'm writing this blog, or if I'm recording this podcast, I'm putting something out, I'm creating something, right? If I had $100 and I said, look, I need 5 people, I'll give you $20 for 1 hour, I need you to do 5 tasks. Who's going to take $20 for an hour right now if I had $100 on me? Right, so when I say my money does more for me than me, if I can come up with the system, the process, the system, and then the pay, I can find people. Quadus worked on a project with me over the winter break. This campus is an Adobe Cloud Creative Campus. So you guys actually get free access to Adobe Cloud Creative Services. So I showed Produce how to use the editing software, Adobe Rush Premiere. We had a nice conversation after a week's of time of showing him this. Produce, and you're from Nigeria, right?
Yes, sir.
Produce is from Nigeria. I said, Produce, how many of your friends could you show this that are looking for opportunity? And then you could go on a site like Fiverr.com and you could just say, hey, anybody need video editing software services? $250 an hour. Now, if you'll do for 1 hour, $20. And I need 5 people, that's $100. If I do editing services and I tell you $250 per hour, what did I just make? Paying 5 people, $20 an hour. It's $100. I got my 5 people that are willing to do 1 hour's worth of work for $20. I charged $150 or $250. I made $150 in profit without doing any work but setting up the deal and the transaction. And then 5 people working on one project, how efficient and effective can I have them complete that? So now I just need to be able to analyze the project and how long it's going to take. And then I quote you based off of the hours, and I pay my people based off of, you want $20 an hour, this project's going to take 4, I'll pay you $100. You have to complete 1, 2, and 3, 4 tasks in this time frame, and then you get your money. A 4-hour project, $250 an hour, $1,000, and you paid how much for your employment? And you didn't do one thing. This is the world of tech right now. Like, this is what you use tech for. And on a very simplistic base, you can make very profitable, or you can pursue profitable endeavors. But the question is, how do you structure it into a system that's profitable and scalable? Because the problem becomes, Produce is going to train 5 friends. He's going to train those 5 friends how to do it. The friends are in Africa. You know, they're all over Africa. Everybody's just $20. They know their role, their whole 9. After about 10 projects, what do you think is going to happen? And when they want more, what's going to happen? When they want more money and you tell them you can't pay them more money, what happens? And they do what? So now the problem with this business is it's so easy. I can teach somebody, but how do I keep people happy so that this $20 they're making is worth their time? Especially when they know I'm charging $250 an hour and they're only getting $20 from each hour. People naturally grow. They naturally move. This is the attrition of the business market. This is what you guys expect. You guys expect because you have a college degree, you're going to get paid X amount of money. So you got a college degree, plus you've been working at this company for 3, 4, 5 years, you expect to be paid more money. But the business, the structure, it can only pay you but what it can pay you without crippling the business. So we can sit here and look at goods and services. There are so many goods and services. I mean, even, again, what I love, like the international standpoint, like America is about importing, exporting. If I can sit here and make, and where are you from? Nepal? Nepal, Nigeria, and Colombia, right? Costa Rica. You got access to 3 different countries right here. Those 3 different countries probably have a specialty of something that they can access that nobody else can. All you got to do is find, how do we ship it? Where do we ship it to? And who's my consumer? Shea Butter Moisturizer was founded this way. The founders, it was a family-owned business. They found their grandmother's recipe for shea butter, and they got shea butter. They imported shea butter from Africa. I'm not sure exactly where in Africa, but they imported it directly here. It was natural shea butter. They turned that into a product during the time frame. And you guys can write this down. I'll probably say it again. But when you think about a business, it's first, you got to have a mission. Mission goes into motivation. Motivation builds money. Mission, motive, money. Mission, motive, money. So the mission was, there was a lot, at the time, a lot of African-American women were going on this natural hair journey. And they were looking for, what products can I use to put in my hair, right? This becomes another issue, right? When you look at these markets, African Americans represent 12% of this market. So you can imagine when we go into grocery stores, when we go into just whatever store we go, the products aren't made for us. The majority of the products have ingredients in there that don't match the textures of our hair or skin. Like there's a whole research case study that goes behind this, but it's solely because we represent 12% of the population. So they have this cocoa or the shea butter. It's hair moisturizer. Like they do a whole bunch of whole product line over it. They were founded or originally based in New York. So what they would do is, if you've ever been to New York is a hustling city. They'll literally set up tables outside of any random location and sell you products. So some woman saw their table and picked up the product that they had, and she was like, she fell in love with it. But the woman was actually on Twitter. And this is right when Twitter was just starting to pick up momentum and had following, and it's really the use case of Twitter was starting to become relevant. She had a large following and she was on her natural hair journey. She found shea butter moisturizer. She tweeted about shea butter moisturizer. The story, they sold the business however many years later. The family still owns a piece of they own on a board positions seat where they're 50% owners, but just really more as benefactors, so that the company always supports diverse businesses. So if you look at shea butter moisturizer, because of who's at the top company, they always invest in women-owned businesses, women-started businesses, and diverse businesses. That's their piece of it, but they sold the business. And if you look at the ingredients of shea moisturizer now, once big business gets involved, they take out the expensive products, they put the bull crap in, and then they deliver it to the masses. In America, it's messed up. We're getting more aware of what's legal and not legal, but you have to be aware of all this stuff from the products you buy, how the supply chain is impacted. This increases your grocery store prices. All these factors, they impact you on a day-to-day basis. They impact you for where the future is going, society-wise, and they impact you job-wise. So services, you have physicians, lawyers, hairstylists, car washes, airlines. And I mean, these are on a high level, right? You got people now that are personal coaches, right? You have a lot of now, everybody wants to be a fitness guru, and anybody can get a certification and work out and train people. But the problem is, when I train people, what do you think the biggest issue as a personal trainer? What's my restriction? Where am I limited at?
I'll just keep training them. I can't be nothing else than their trainer.
Hmm?
I can't be nothing else than a trainer. I will just be
I
training.
can't be nothing else than a trainer, but what else? You said the gym, location. How many people do you train at a time? Typically one?
No, I mean, you can make groups, but.
You can make groups with typically one person at a time, and you train them for an hour. How many hours in a day? 24. You're sleeping for 8. You eat, family time, your own personal workout. You really technically only work for 8 hours a day. You can't train one, imagine on a perfect world,
Yeah,
1 for 8 hours. I don't care how much you love working out. Colin, I imagine you're on the baseball team. You love working out. Would you, I don't, like, if I paid you $100 per hour every day, and then you had 8 hours, and from 9 to 5 every day, new client, new client, new client, new client, new client, you're making 800. New people, like, you know how it's hard to motivate the baseball team, right? And you're not paying nobody.
Yeah.
They're not paying you at least, right?
Yeah.
Like, so could you imagine training people, the motivation that you have to do to train people? Have you trained people before?
No.
No? You haven't trained baseball? You haven't coached?
No.
Not Little League? You haven't gone out and coached Little League or nothing? Damn, come on, you gotta get back. Earn a return, man. You gotta give it back to the kids. Not yet. I got you. We're gonna work on that. But who's ever trained somebody? How like the biggest, the most difficult part about training is motivating, right? Like you see their BS, you see them like shut, and then you gotta, some people put a fire behind their butt, other people, you got it, stay motivated, good job, right? Motivation, like I'm gonna get pissed dealing with people and stuff every single day. I don't get $800 a day. Is that enough? Sounds good when you don't got it. But is that really enough? And that's what you're dealing with every single day. Eventually, you're going to want to do what? Well, grow. You're not going to do the same thing every day, train 8 people every single day for $800. Eventually, I'm going to need 1,000. Then I'm going to need 2,000. Then I'm going to need 3,000. How do I set this structure up, deal with these people, and grow business when I'm the one training? And then the problem becomes, okay, I can get more trainers, and I can pay you 800, 800, 800, 800, and then we grow this facility, but eventually they're going to get tired and they're going to want to do the same thing. Like, why are you paying me 800 when I can just go out and have my own clients and build my own thing? It's so easy. So what's the system? What's the structure? And then how do you keep the people you hire happy so that they stay, so that they innovate? Because that's where the business grows. The business grows from the people you hire in that company. If the people don't innovate, if the people don't problem solve, the business lasts for a small time frame, that time frame being when it meets customer desire and demand, and then eventually customer desire and demand fades away, shifts, transitions. What you bought and liked 10 years ago is not what you are interested in today. What I bought and liked when I was your age is not what you guys are interested in today. Business always changes. You must be aware and identify areas to capitalize on it. We'll close out there. I'll see you guys on Thursday.